Okay, well, welcome in everyone. Tonya Tko here. We're going to have a special guest come in all the way from London, England, who is going to talk with us about whether or not Omarosa, we're going to talk about Omarosa. And let's see. So I'm adding him in now. And we're going to get to the bottom of whether or not Omarosa is a villain or hero. He's all the way in England, so I don't know what it is that he's heard about Omarosa, but we're going to take a few moments to let the broadcast get revved up, and we're going to get him inside of the broadcast. It looks like he's coming in now.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, Tanya. I'm back. Look at Tanya. All right, I'm back.
I
I'm
don't
on
see your
camera.
camera. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So, welcome back in. We broadcast live just a few moments ago when I was trying to figure out the components of the
Mhm.
broadcast. And so we got it figured out. We talked about your accent. We talked about all of that stuff. And then now we're going to head into talking straight about Omarosa. First of all, let's talk about what it is that you know about Omarosa. What do you know about her?
I know about she was on the contestant on the Apprentice show, and she's been fired a couple of times. She had an altercation with Pierce Morgan over the spelling of her name. Friend, it was pretty bad. I think basically what he was trying to say off air that she propositioned him and said that we should sleep each other just to boost up ratings, and he said never. And because of that, he never really liked her and realized she'll do anything, can say anything to get where she get on top. And she's just relentless. And she's competitive, very competitive, and she don't care who she steps on. So that's what I know about her.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that she had this beef with Piers Morgan. What's his name? Piers Morgan, right?
Yeah, Pierce Morgan.
I didn't
Proposition.
know she I didn't know she had a beef with him. I knew about the apprentice stuff. Okay, so you support Omarosa.
I did you no hold up, stop there. No. I didn't say I support Mother. I just said like what's happened. I've never supported her. I'm just saying what's happened in terms of where she's coming from, the journey of where she's trying to be. That's the journey of life. Like you go through some stuff and then you see things are not really going your way and you change, and yeah, you adapt and a change. And her change and burn it because she was basically being used as a pawn as the token black woman in the cabinet, and she didn't mind that. But until they threw her out and treated her that certain way, she used the system back against them. That's what I'm enjoying. That's the idea that you thought you could just treat her and have her depict her running around the White House trying to get into the offices. And what she did, she got recordings, and they trying to say, "Oh, she's a liar," and she has recordings and she had evidence, and she's making money of it, and she's exposing what these people are really like. So I appreciate that, and I find it quite amusing.
Okay, so you're amused by her shenanigans.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so my stance is I support Omarosa. I support what it is that she's doing and I support how she's going about doing it. I think she can get an invite to the cookout. Do you guys have cookouts out there?
I don't know what the cookout is. What's the cookouts?
When you have a barbecue,
Okay, a barbecue. Yeah.
do you guys have barbecues out there?
Yeah, we have barbecues out here. Yeah, we do have barbecues. That's what you call it, cookouts, right? We call it
Yeah.
barbecues. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, where you guys get a grill and you grill food and you play music and you guys dance. Do you guys do the electric slide out there?
Yeah, we do all that. Yeah.
You do the electric slide.
Well, like when we electric slide, do you mean like there's a playground and there's a bouncy castle and there's stuff and there's food? That's what I mean. And like in the bouncy castle, there's a slide and stuff. Is that what you mean?
For the electric slide?
I guess not then. No, I guess I don't know what the electric slide is.
Bouncy castle. You guys must be having some fancy cookouts.
Yeah, that's a fancy one though. But yeah,
The
like
electric slide where you go left, then you go back. No, you go left, then you go right, then you go dip down, back.
is that ain't that the cameo thing? Ain't that the song by Cameo, the theme by Cameo, where you listen to Dust Like Sweet Like Candy and you just do the dancing? I don't know. Ain't it that?
You guys have been separated from too much of your African roots out there.
Okay, all right then, fair enough then. So basically you don't people don't want to accept her back into accept her. That's what it is. That's what the cookout
They
basically
don't.
is.
So basically, people are saying that Omarosa can't get an invite to the cookout. Is basically the basic premise is this: that there's a Black consortium here in the United States, right? And the Black conglomerate has said that Omarosa is not invited to come back into the family gatherings because in a Black cookout, you know, there's a lot of camaraderie of Black people. There's food, there's recipes, there's dancing, there's playing spades. There's a lot of traditional things that happen at a cookout that Black people do in this country. And so basically, they're saying that she's no longer Black. She's not invited to the Black function. She's on the outside. That's what they're saying.
I think some people invite her. I'd invite
Huh?
her. I'd invite her. She's amusing. She's amusing. I'd invite her. She's quite. I'd invite her. She knows she knows that.
Something's wrong with your headset, brother.
You can't hear me? Oh, sorry, I got my hands on my. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yes.
Oh my, yeah. I think some people would accept her. I don't think everyone would accept her because of some of the, she's really burned down bridges with a lot of people.
Well, that's what the conversation was about on Facebook, whether or not Omarosa can get an invite back to the cookout. And I was saying that she can, and Eric was saying that she could not. So that's when we were going to come over here to YouTube and finish up the conversation. And so I want to find out your stance on Omarosa because me personally, I support Omarosa and I support what she's doing and how she's doing it. I don't care whether or not Omarosa is for me as a Black person. I don't. I don't need her to be for me. I just need her to take them down.
Exactly, yeah. But that's what I enjoy about it. You know, that's quite. It's amusing. It's amusing. It seems to me that Donald Trump and her have I don't know what kind of relationship they have, but seemed like it's more than business, man. You know, I think the lines might have been crossed somewhere because the way he reacted to her, call her a dog and stuff like that, it's like oof. You know,
Wait, you think that they've had sex?
I think so. I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think she's been with him a lot of times and she's been with him and I think it's a case of she's one of them women. It seemed like he done maybe done something with her and just rejected her and she could never let him go. Maybe. You know, she said she hasn't got no father figure, and women looking for a father figure, and Donald Trump was that guy. She admitted that he was a father figure. He learned from her. Then maybe they was intimate at some point. I'm not saying casually all the time. Maybe at some point, and she begged him, like he said, she begged and pleaded and cried and stuff like that. Why was he and he seems quite cold as well. Why was he receptive? Why was he so receptive to her?
Wow. So this is what I'm hearing you say. This is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
First, you started out with some rumor about Pierce Morgan being propositioned by Omarosa.
But
Did
no, that's not a
Omarosa,
rumor. That's not a rumor. Pierce Morgan is actually it's actually on so YouTube. I was
excuse,
watching it yesterday.
excuse me, did Omarosa say that this is what she did? Did she say she propositioned Pierce Morgan?
Well, a rumor where
Excuse
we
me,
have to hear.
excuse me, excuse
Mhm.
me. The question is, did Omarosa admit that she propositioned? Did she state that she propositioned Pierce Morgan?
She hasn't been asked that question.
So the answer is no.
There's no one's asked her that question. There's only Pierce Morgan's has stated that.
Okay, so what you're saying is that some white male has come forward claiming that Omarosa offered to give him her body in exchange for ratings. And you're using that as the basis for whether or not you think that Donald Trump and her had some sort of relationship. And Donald Trump, let me ask you this question. You're in England. What is it that you know about Donald Trump out there in England?
That he's bought Scotland. He has land in Scotland. His parents. He has relatives in Scotland. He gets on fairly well with people. He likes people from England.
What do you know about Donald Trump? You know, the only thing that you know about Donald Trump is that he has land in Scotland.
Yeah, his relatives are from England, from Scotland, And I know well, in England, obviously, I know that he bought the Trump Towers in New Jersey. He had the Trump Towers in New Jersey, his property in New York.
Okay. So that's
He's business with Vince McMahon, the wrestler. He had an argument with Rosie O'Donnell. Well, quite a bit. He's been on talk shows. He has books.
okay. So what it is that you, so this is what I'm hearing, right? What I'm hearing
Okay.
is, and just correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going to state what it is that I'm hearing from you. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is that what you know about Donald Trump is that his family's from Scotland and that he
Mhm.
owns a bunch of businesses and that he was on a wrestling show and that he had a fight with Rosie McDonald
Yeah,
or
because
Rosie
he's
McDonald.
yeah. The first time I actually heard about Donald, I think it was like
Oh,
1980.
okay,
988, 987,
okay,
988, 988, when no 98, I think it was 1989, 1988, where he was at WrestleMania 5, and because I used to watch a lot of wrestling, and he was there. They used the Trump Tower Conventional Center in New Jersey to host the WrestleMania 5.
okay. Well, let me
So
let me
that's
say this. Let me say this. Did you know about Donald Trump in the 90s when he was attempting to have some black boys executed for rape that they did not commit?
no, I don't know about that.
Okay, did you know about Donald Trump and the racist policies that he had in his buildings where he was sued. He instructed people not to rent to black people. He was sued and he still continued the practice. He was sued for housing discrimination. He still continued to practice. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Did you know about his birther campaign that he started against, that he propagated against Obama, claiming that Obama was not an American citizen? And he continued this up until the day that Obama was left office. Did you know
Yes,
about that? The birth.
yes, I did know about that. That pissed me off, man. That pissed me off really badly.
Okay, so you knew about that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know did you know about how Trump the Trump buildings, Trump just sold his name. Did you know that Trump went bankrupt more than 6 times? Trump doesn't pay people who does work for him. His quote unquote Trump University was sued for being a scam. Did you know about those things?
No.
Okay. Did you know that? Let's see what else. So his bill, his universe, and he owes $20 million. I believe it's $20 million. He owes from being sued from scamming people from Trump University. Did you know that there are contractors still to this day who did work for Donald Trump who have still to this day not been paid?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, did you know that Trump started out his career with a $2 million loan or $2 million quote unquote loan that he got from his father?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay, and did you know that with that $2 million, that $2 million actually increased exponentially the 6 times that he went bankrupt in businesses and had to be bailed out by his father over and over and over again? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know about that. I feel
Okay,
like I'm on trial. I feel like I'm on trial, but go ahead.
okay, I'm just asking you what it is that you know, and I'm just trying to inform you because I loathe Donald Trump. And
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You
did you know
love.
that in Atlantic City, even
Mm,
though it's the gambling capital, well, one of the gambling capitals of the United States,
mm.
and that there are so many casinos there and people who are making a lot of money because the house always wins. Did you know that Donald Trump went bankrupt in Atlantic City because of poor management of his businesses? Did you know that?
Yeah, yeah, of his casinos, yeah, yeah, and his businesses, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know that he's a failed businessman. You know that he's a racist, and you know that he's a liar. You know that he
Well,
cheats people.
mm. Well, yeah, like what be basically what you're saying. Yeah, I've heard the stuff that people are saying about him, and but there's certain people still in like him, because he started the NFL, the NFL and the FXFL,
The
American
what?
football team. I think it was American football. He tried to compete against the NFL. He tried to start an old football league against them. And a lot of American athletes, they like him. Darryl Strawberry,
I
Donald.
don't know. Listen, that's immaterial. What I'm talking about
Yeah.
is whether or not Donald Trump, if he claimed that he had a relationship with Omarosa, if he
No, he
claims
never claimed that. He never claimed that. I was just
if,
putting it out
if,
there.
if,
Mm-hmm.
if, do you think he would be trusted if he said that?
That's a good question. I don't really trust what most of the stuff he says anyway, because he changed his mind, to be fair.
You trust what Piers Morgan says?
That's a good question. It was entertaining. That's a good question, you know. Because obviously if I repeated it, then maybe I did believe it. I guess some part of me did believe it.
Okay, so from what it is that you know about Donald Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
You believe that Omarosa may have entered into some sort of sexual relationship with him in which he rejected her. So the reason why I ask what we know about Donald Trump, right? From the history of what it is that we know about Donald Trump. If he claims that Omarosa was crying and begging for a job, do we believe him when he says that?
No. Nope. Oh, I guess, well, yeah, I guess that's a good point. I guess a good point. But she doesn't really deny that though.
She doesn't deny what?
But she begged him for a job in the White House, or
let me ask you this question. From what it is that you've seen of Omarosa, does she seem like the person that stoops and bows her head to anyone?
From what I've seen of her, no. But I tend to believe that people tend to believe that with her, she'll do, like, again, I'm coming from this perspective, she'll do anything and anything to get to where she needs to get to. So
right. So then what you're saying is Omarosa's disingenuous.
In some point she could be.
Okay. So then let's run with that. Mm-hmm. All right. So if Donald Trump states that Omarosa begged and cried for a job and that he gave her a chance, do you believe that? I want to know whether or not you believe that statement.
Say that again, sorry.
If Donald Trump says that Omarosa cried and begged him for a job, and Donald Trump is saying this, do you believe it?
Nah.
So then what would make you repeat some stuff from a crazed, known racist with a history of cheating and lying and duping people? What would make you believe anything that he says?
You're right. Good point. I mean, the reason why I mention it because that's what was said. Now you're asking me. Said it? Yeah. Well, that's what came out. But this is my whole point. That she's proven them wrong. Everything they've said about her, she's been proving them wrong. That's why.
So then why would you believe? So why would you believe what Trump says? Listen, whatever. So just so we can move on past this point, because people feel like I'm badgering you, right? And I'm not trying to badger you.
I feel like I'm in court, man. I've never been caught. I've never been caught. But boy, like you're pretty good. Like you be like the prosecution, and I'm there, and I'm trying to be a good, healthy witness. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Listen, I want to move past it because I'm not trying to badger you. I just want to say this. If Donald Trump says it, don't believe it. Don't take anything that he says at face value, right?
Okay.
And then also, and then on the flip side of it, if you and I both agree that Omarosa is disingenuous, that Omarosa will do or say whatever it is that she needs to do or say to get to where it is that she wants to be, if there was water that was coming out of her eyes in begging Trump for a job, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Do you believe that she was truly crying and begging for a job?
Nah, she probably was acting.
Okay.
If she was.
Okay, so then we could just lay that to rest. There's no reason to talk about that. And then we'll wait. Somebody inside of the audience says that Piers Morgan has a recording of Omarosa propositioning him. Me personally, I don't believe it. I would need to hear this recording personally, because what we have right now is we have a Black woman who is infiltrated into the systems of power in the United States. First of all, Piers Morgan is a bully.
He is.
And I've seen him bully women on his program. Mm-hmm. He's pompous. He's aggressive. He doesn't allow people to speak in his presence. And I personally am not inclined to believe I'm personally not inclined to believe anything that he says. I would put my money on Omarosa before any of these powerful white men. So when you come out here and you start saying, what is it that makes you believe that Omarosa had a sexual relationship with Donald Trump?
Because like she mentioned this, she's ambitious. She wants to better her situation, and like what? Look, I guess I got that idea when Pierce put that kind of idea into my head that she propositioned him.
Okay, so you allowed some pompous, bully white man to come and let you feel that Omarosa propositioned Donald Trump for sex.
But this is the thing, right? See, everything about Omarosa, that when people said about her, she'll prove them wrong. She has facts and stuff. But she hasn't, no one's come up to her and said, has Pierce said this about us? So give her opinion to prove him wrong. I mean, she's too busy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I enjoy about her, because anytime she seems like she's worked with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has probably shown her that anything you talk to anyone in this world that you need to record. So I'm sure she'll have some sort of proof to prove that that's not the case.
Right. Well, then this is what I'll say. The person who says that Piers Morgan had a recording, they said that they were being tongue in cheek. So they were just joking about that. So Piers Morgan has made an accusation of a solicitation from a Black woman to him for sex. And you believe it. And the reason that you give for not believing it is simply because Omarosa hasn't taken time out from her book tour to confront Piers Morgan. And it was
a time when she was silenced, when she got when they were tarnishing her at the time when she got when she left the White House, whatever reason they left. It was a time he came on Fox News and he was talking to Tucker Carlson, whatever. And because I looked at the date, it was like, yeah, okay, is it okay? Yeah, yeah, it was there. It was around that time, so she wasn't really concerned with what Piers Morgan, because obviously they don't like each other. He tried to disrespect. He's not tried to. He disrespect her very harshly on The Apprentice. Obviously, Piers Morgan won that show, but since then she never really addressed it. But her main thing is that, and this is what
Piers Morgan was on The Apprentice with Omarosa.
Yeah, that's the one they got into an argument in the back of a cab where Lennox Lewis was at the front. And
Piers was he one of the contestants? Was he a contestant?
Yeah. He was. Yeah, he was leading the team. There are two teams, and Donald Trump. He knew that because they don't get along with each other. He put Omarosa on Team Pierce, Team Morgan, and they were going to get something. And he was saying everyone was contributing in the task, and Omarosa wasn't doing anything. So he basically gave her the most menial job. He said, you can type up something and type up the itinerary. And when she typed the itinerary, she spelled his name wrong. And what he did, he goes, my name's spelled wrong. And he ripped it from my hands. He just basically tried to embarrass her. Because my name is Pierce, not Pierce. Yeah, he goes, anyone I know. He kept on talking about it until eventually she scrubbed the paper and threw at him, and they got into it. And she went off on him. It was something. And that's the first time I actually saw The Apprentice. That's the first time I actually saw her. And it was really bad. It was really bad.
So then this is what I'm hearing, Errol. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that Piers Morgan and Omarosa were rivals 20 years ago on The Apprentice, or 15 years ago on The Apprentice, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they were rivals. And so two people who had a known feud, one of those people came forward and claimed that the other person solicited them for sex.
Before
and
you believe
the rival.
Yeah, before the show started, that's what he said. Before they got onto The Apprentice, because obviously there's only one job, and she wanted them spots, and she's been on. I think that was her last. That was her third time coming on The Apprentice. She was on the first one. She got fired. Second one. Okay, so on what he's saying, before that the show actually aired.
I heard you say that before the show aired that she solicited him for sex.
Yeah, and that's what caused. Yeah, that's why he had that.
There's some people in the audience who feel like you're implying that a successful Black woman had to whore her way to the top.
Ooh. Nah, I don't think so. She's intelligent as it is.
So then
at this point, yeah. Remember, you got to bear in mind, yeah, that people didn't think highly of her already. She was not really for the Black cause, or she wasn't really favor of being. Because
so now you got to add prostitute to it.
I, I guess, yeah, I guess you got a good point. You got a good point. I mean, people didn't think highly of her as it is. I mean, look,
Let me
like
ask
I
you.
said,
Let me ask you this question, though, and I don't want to keep cutting you off because I really want to get into the heart of the matter. Besides one of her rivals and competitors from 15 years ago, who else has stated that Omarosa solicited them for sex?
no one I know of. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. What percentage of England is white?
Quite a lot of it, about like 80%, 85%, probably.
85% white. What percent of England is black?
Well, black, we got all the other minorities. So if it's 80, 85, then it's like 25, 15 in it, 15 in it. The other half in it. But I mean, Mike,
85
bro.
and
Yeah. It's not, yeah, because if you're talking about the inner,
there's no Asians.
yeah, I was gonna create, yeah, I was talking about like, oh, black. I was actually adding everyone else in. But
So
when you
you
meant,
don't know. So basically you don't know. It's not known what percentage of because the United States of America is 13% black.
13,
It's
okay.
67% Caucasian,
Wow.
67% white. So just
Okay.
67%. And so Asians and Latinos and stuff make up the other portions. So my question to you then is, because I wonder, a person who lives in a country that is more than 80% white, a person who lives in a country who doesn't know what percentage of the country is black, is it possible that you may be suffering from a form of mental slavery?
Nah, I don't think so. Now, hear what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm saying about Omarosa. Like, this is what I enjoy about Omarosa. Omarosa, yeah, to me, yeah,
No,
is
before we start talking about Omarosa, I want to find
I
out
don't,
what is it that would possess you as a black person to
yeah.
believe the word of these white men who are coming forward trying to disparage this woman?
Mm.
I just want to
Boy.
know.
Now, hear what I'm listen to me, yeah, right? And I am answering your question, yeah, right? The whole thing with Omarosa, right, and taking sides or whatever, you don't know who's wrong or who's right? That's remember it's opinion, isn't it? We're just hearing of what they're saying. I'm hearing it second hand, third hand of what their opinions are. At this point, right, the only thing you can go by is by recordings and everything like that. So and again, all I'm basically is repeating, right? Repeating what's been said about her, right? Now you're saying because I'm repeating it that I've already made up my mind about what side. But when you ask me about my opinion, do I think it's true or not? I didn't really think about it. I'm just having a conversation with you, not really taking opinions
Yeah, but
on
you know
whether I
what?
be it. And
I think
mental slavery, like mental slavery, what you mentioned about that. No, I don't think I'm conversation. I'm having a conversation about this. Like I said, this is at this point about Omarosa. There's a lot of people dislike her, like her, and just having a conversation. Me myself personally, mental, because are you trying to like from this conversation trying to pull that? Because when white people say something, that I just actually believe it. No, I don't. Obviously, I've already pulled out. But about this situation with Omarosa, like she's proven what people are saying about her is wrong. So and whether what Piers
right,
Morgan said
but
something.
why? But my question: why is the burden of proof on Omarosa with all of the rumors and
Mm-hmm,
nasty things out there? She's battling the president of the United States. Here's
mm-hmm,
Piers Morgan, some talk show host, making some claim about Omarosa from 15 years ago. This is and so listen, there are still chains that bind my own mind. I'm black in America. I'm 67% white. There are chains that bind my own mind. So I know that the way that I navigate through this world is a reflect of the remnants of slavery. It is. It is. And the people who are the things that we do that are part of mental slavery, we don't know that we're doing them. My thing is that you've mentioned 3 known classes, racists or xenophobes. We're talking about Piers Morgan, Donald Trump, and Tucker Carlson.
mm-hmm.
And so you're using these people. So that's why I asked you, please don't be offended about the fact that I asked you about mental slavery. Okay? Because I'm wondering why you're listening to the words of racist and then using the time on my ear to repeat what these racists are saying and saying that it may be true because Omarosa has not disputed it.
No, I've mentioned the reason why I mentioned it up in the conversation is because these people are attacking her, and I was going through what these people are saying about her, with these how these people are attacking her. They've all been proven wrong. So that I'm just having a conversation about them. I'm not agreeing with what they're saying at
So
all.
let
And the
so
reason,
so okay. You know what? I feel you on that.
person,
I feel you on that. So let me ask you this question, right?
yeah.
Of the people who Omarosa has pulled the cards for, how many of those people are outside of the White House? Because the only people that I have seen that Omarosa has pulled the cards for have been people in the White House. How many people outside of the White House or affiliated with the White House has she had to come back and prove wrong? How many?
I have no idea.
I have not seen her address not one person outside of the White House for their lies about her. Every person
Mm.
that she talked about the general who had fired her and the rumors that were going around, as well as the people who were supporting Donald Trump. Everybody that she's had recordings for that she's come out and say this is a lie. Everybody has been affiliated with the White House. Could it be possible that she just doesn't have the time to confront every person? Like you said, a lot of people don't like her. Pierce Morgan obviously has a history of not liking her. So why is the burden of proof on Omarosa to prove Pierce Morgan some lowly? First of all, Pierce Morgan is not on her level. We're talking about a former White House staffer and some talk show host. Pierce Morgan isn't
No.
on her level. Some racist talk show host. He's not on White House level. So why should she have to come back down and confront him about his lies? He's the one who has something to gain from her fame and notoriety right now, not the other way around. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm screaming. Let me calm down.
Yeah,
Is
like he was the news and editor of the News of the World, very powerful with Rupert Murdoch, and he's the head of media, which was going into a prominent royalty and the celebrities and recording them, and they found out and they shut down the News of the World newspaper. Then obviously he absconded and came to America and joined. I think Larry King had his show on CNN, and Piers Morgan took over that show. But before that, he didn't have a job, so that's why he went on to The Apprentice to try and get a job with Donald Trump and to work in his organization. Now you're talking about is he credible and stuff like that. Between the two of them, like I like when Piers Morgan is saying something and stuff like that, you're watching it. When I watch these sort of things, it's entertaining. Now, do I take inside that this guy's 100% saying no? I don't. But then I don't think anyone when they're on these sort of things, they're saying things to put them in a certain light. Whether I'm taking sides with Omarosa, I find it quite entertaining that the other day they had Omarosa and they were using her to their benefit. And now they've turned around on her and trying to say that she's distant and she's not that type of person. She's calling her
right.
dog. Yeah, that's I mean, I like the idea. She's fighting. What I like about her is her
Mhm.
fighting spirit. She's not letting people take advantage of her and bend her how she wants. That's what I enjoy about her. Now
Right.
again,
So then
most
if
of the
this is
stuff.
a person whose fighting spirit you enjoy, why come? Because we got off onto this tangent because we're talking about Omarosa. And in our conversation about Omarosa, you decided to enter in the input of some white man who has some vendetta against her and use this as an opportunity to say that you feel that Omarosa is a woman scorned because Donald Trump probably entered her vagina with his penis and didn't want to continue a relationship with her and then kicked her out of the White House. Why spend the time disparaging Omarosa in that way? If you want to talk about what it is that we know, let's talk about what we know about Omarosa, not rumors from racists. Okay, can we do that? And we could finish this up talking about Omarosa because I'm sorry, I found that annoying. I found it annoying that you would bring in the rumors of this scorned white man to talk about Omarosa and her vagina. This conversation is not about what that woman does with her pussy.
Yeah, when we're talking about it, I'm bringing up conversations of what stuff I've seen. So I didn't think I wasn't trying to offend anyone. I wasn't trying to offend you either. I was just bringing up the stuff that what was being said about her, and I was bringing up maybe that was the case, but it was just an opinion that maybe it was forming because of the information I had. Didn't mean I saw it as fact. Just to bring an opinion. That's all we had. I'm just talking about with you, but I wasn't meaning to offend
Yeah.
anyone.
Somebody in the audience is saying that I'm transferring my own hatred of white men on to the Oma situation. And I do not hate white men. I don't hate anybody. What I don't like is I don't like the propagation of mistruth. That's what I don't like. And what I don't like is the propagation of asserting these rumors. Like, why speak truth into a rumor? Why repeat a rumor that has not been verified, and then start making claims? Because we have people on this broadcast, this video will be seen 1,000 times. Why talk about what Omarosa's doing with her pussy in the White House and how she probably F this person and F that person and offered to give sex to this person? This is an intelligent woman, a powerful and shrewd woman. Why do we have to bring her vagina into it? I just don't understand. Why can't we respect her for what it is that we know about her? That she's sharp, and is anybody talking about whose penis Piers Morgan sucked to get to where he is?
No, you bring up a very good point. And then, you know what, to be fair, I only saw the video yesterday, even though the video was like months old. To that point, I never even actually, that wasn't even actually on my mind. But like I said to you, just the information I saw recently of these people saying stuff about her. But like I said again, the reason why the reason why I've seen it is because they're trying to attack her and bring her down, and the idea that she's come back and she's got a book and she's going on tours and fighting again. That's what I'm getting at. Not the idea that she's sitting there and being abused by these abusers and attacking her. It's the idea that she said, okay, that I know what you guys are playing. I'm gonna play your game better than that. That's more or less where I'm coming from. Not the I mean I'm bringing up all the slanders and all the stuff, all the innuendos and all the stuff they're bringing at her, but it's more to do with her journey of where she was, where she is, and how she's turned around and she's putting it on them.
You know what? What we're going to do is, I promise to always be honest with you. Okay? I promise to always be honest. I promise to always be forthright with you. This is why when a person comes on this broadcast and starts questioning me, I can say and state with full assurity who it is that I am, what it is that I've done, and where it is that I'm going. What we're not going to do is we're not going to rewrite what it is that you said. You were laughing when you started making these jokes about Omarosa and her vagina and how she probably effed Donald Trump and he probably fired her. And now she's out there on a vendetta because she has these daddy issues, because her father was murdered in front of her, and that she probably looked to Donald Trump as a father figure, and she probably this, that, and the other. So what I want to do is I want to move on from this, and I want to talk about Omarosa, because I don't believe that Piers Morgan deserves airtime over here. I don't believe that Donald Trump and his foolishness deserves as much airtime as we're giving him either. I want to talk about Omarosa. So listen, I know that men have egos, okay? So I'm not going to ask you to even respond to what it is that I said. We both know how you came into this conversation talking about Omarosa and her sex life. We both know, and the people who are watching know too. So we're just gonna wipe that clean. Let's blow it away, and let's just remove that. You want to talk about Omarosa? Let's talk about Omarosa, okay? And let's just leave Piers Morgan alone. Let's leave the rumors of racist alone. And let's talk about what it is that this one woman show is doing to take down Trump in the White House. Okay, can we do that?
Go ahead, it's fine.
All right. You look like you've been beat up by me. I know that you're in the boxing life. Don't take these. Listen, this is just a spar right now. We're just sparring. Okay? All right.
No, I'm not saying now. I'm fine. It's fine. Like I said to you, the stuff I've mentioned, whether you
Omarosa,
think I'm taking sides.
we're talking about Omarosa.
Go ahead, let's go.
Go ahead. What is your position on Omarosa?
I've already stated my opinion on Omarosa. I find her entertaining of ways. I like her, like the journey she's come through. She's come through the journey, and I remember you stated it already about the barbecue, or what's it called again? The table, or whatever. There you go, the cookout. I already stated it. Like, can she get a table? I said not with everyone, but some people will like her. I mean, like I said to you, it's all about how you write how people are gonna see you. And end of the day, from what she's saying and how she's coming across, it's like, she seemed like she's seen the light of what she was doing before.
Let me ask you this question: do you feel like I've attacked you, Errol?
You know what I think? I think you're trying to get the best out of this debate or conversation. You're trying to bring the best out of me, and so you're gonna say stuff, and you're trying to see what I'm like.
Do you feel as if I've attacked you?
No, I think you might have put me in a certain light that I don't think I am. But other than that, I don't think you've attacked me directly to at me. No, I don't.
Okay, because there's a person in the audience who feels like I'm attacking you. And there are
Hmm.
other people in the audience who feels like I'm not attacking you. How do you feel?
I'm fine at the moment. I'm fine. I mean, I might listen to this after and might feel differently, but at the minute, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I've stated how I feel about Omarosa. I support her. I wouldn't trust her in my inner circle because I know that Omarosa at the end of the day is all about Omarosa. I don't feel that Omarosa is a representation of black people of black people as a consortium in the United States, but I support that woman. I support what it is that she's doing and I support how she's doing it. I believe that she is playing Trump's game against him and I believe that she will win. One, because she's a woman, and two, because she's smart. Donald Trump is a buffoon. He's a buffoon. He doesn't have the savvy that Omarosa have, and Omarosa to me is playing a long game. Donald Trump plays short games. He doesn't understand trade war. He doesn't understand this gripping handshake that he's doing on people. He doesn't understand the implications of sexual assault. He doesn't understand the implications of not paying workers. He doesn't understand the implications of deferring himself from war 5 times and then expecting to be the commander in chief and get respect in that role. Donald Trump is a buffoon. He's not as smart as Omarosa is. And I believe that Omarosa will win in this fight because she's smart, she's savvy, she's well educated. Listen, in America, we have this saying that Black people have to be twice as smart, work twice as hard to get half as far. And I know for a fact that a Black man of Donald Trump's limited intelligence would never have made it into the White House. Even with Barack Obama, we have Ivy League grads, both in him and his wife, and now his daughter too. So it's like for Barack Obama to get into the White House, he had to be top of his game, top of his class, a practicing attorney, somebody who had accomplished much. He started out as a congressman, or I'm sorry, a senator. We got Donald Trump, who is a buffoon, a person who deferred himself from war 5 times, a person who is on the record in his wife's book as having raped her. So we have a person of his low caliber in the White House. And I believe Omarosa is smarter than him. And I believe that she is playing this white man's game against him and she will win.
Mm-hmm. That may happen.
That's my point.
But she's winning now. She's definitely winning now. I'm looking forward to see what the next tape she puts out. The tape she put out with the I think she got the tape with The Apprentice. And there was rumors that Donald Trump used the M words. They're trying to find out. I don't know how that make a difference. And she's going to help them in terms of, I don't know, the impeachment or something like that of the when Donald Trump. Yeah. So I'm interested. We find that she's winning now. She's definitely winning now. She's got a book. And people are paying to see her book, all right? See her book. She did book tours. She's going around. People are talking to her. The thing is, yeah, they were painting her that she was a mad, angry Black woman running around the White House, and she changed that narrative, and that's great. And that's why that to me is where it's at. That's how I look at it, and that's how I look at life. People can paint you in a certain way, but if you have the power and the ability to get yourself out of it, which she has, and you can control what people are saying about you. That's why I enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So is there anything else you want to add before we end the broadcast? Is there anything in the audience people want to add before we end the broadcast? Because Errol, you look like you've been beat up and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You keep saying I look like I'm beat up. Maybe because of this, I'm just listening to what you're saying. Like, I don't know what more to say.
You started the broadcast with so much energy and now you done sunk back down.
The thing is, the thing is, like when it comes to like accusations or your opinions of what I've been said, I wasn't really thinking that I'd be put on the spot about what I'd be saying. But obviously, as I'm talking with you, that you're really like analyzing what I'm saying to make me think what I'm saying. So then I have to slow down my process of how I was just having a conversation and maybe I'm thinking that what I was saying wasn't really going to be like, used against me in a court of law against me in a way that I have to answer that. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to answer like I like when you've made your statement or your points or whatever, I'm just listening. I'm not really gonna address what your opinions are. That's your opinions. But with my case, it's like I've said something and it's like, why do you say this? What do you mean by this? Does you mean this? Do you mean that? And then I'm thinking, okay, then. So therefore,
Okay.
in that respect, that's probably why.
Well, you know what? And I'll say this, and I'll state this to the audience as well. You're not an on-air personality. Typically, you're a regular person who has an opinion, right? And when you're a regular person who has an opinion and you have that opinion at home or among your friends, there's a different responsibility than coming on the airwaves with an irresponsible opinion. I believe that what it was that you were saying about Omarosa was irresponsible because it had not been verified, nor had it been corroborated with anyone besides a person who's her known I don't want to say enemy, but someone who is against her. So there's a responsibility that we have when we come out to the public and we start talking, because our voice is heard by thousands of people. You never know where a video may go and who may get it into their hands. And there are people out there like you who have not done research, who have not corroborated stories, who repeat what it is that they've heard because it sinks into the. How many times have we seen something on Facebook? We've seen a headline, and that headline gets implanted into our brains. And then the next thing we know, we're quoting this headline when we had never even read the story. Not only have we not read the story, we never fact checked any of it. So we start requoting this, and we do it inadvertently. So we have a responsibility when we come out to the people to say stuff that we know has been verified. We have to be very, very careful of what it is that we're repeating, because you say it here on this broadcast, and then the next thing you know, somebody else hears it and they start repeating it. Oh, Donald Trump and Omarosa had an affair. Oh, did you hear this? Oh, this is what happened. And then it takes on a larger life. So we definitely have to be responsible for what it is that's coming out of our mouths. Okay.
Yeah, I have a big audience myself on my own YouTube channel. I have a lot of boxing audience, so I actually usually before I say anything, I'm repeating of what I have heard, by CNN or Fox News, to have the conversation with you. So, and that's the whole point of having a conversation about it, and that's where I brought it up of what I've heard in terms of I can verify where I'm coming from. So I wasn't just bringing out my head or anything like that. You know, you can go to the source and actually listen to what he had to say as well. But as you pointed out, is your opinion of as Piers Morgan's a racist and Donald Trump's a racist, and you have background and information to verify that they're racist, that their opinions do not matter in terms of that. But like I said to you, the conversation about Omarosa of where her journey is and where he is and how people judge her is still going on, and how people are going to judge her. Now, me, myself, like I said to you, I have my own platform. I have a lot of subscribers myself, not as many as you. And I talk boxing, and I fact check. Obviously, a lot of stuff I fact check and bring information up, and before I come out and verify. But anything I have said, if some people feel like I'm fabricated, then it's there to find out that people have said what I said.
So now, so see, and then so this is the thing, and there's somebody, cat, whatever, who's in the audience saying that my title suggests respect for others' opinion, no matter how uninformed I feel they are. I'm not exactly sure what about my title, whether Omarosa is a villain or sHero. I don't know what about that title says that I'm going to give equal weight to anyone's opinion, no matter how uninformed it is. I don't know where you're getting that from. No, all opinions are not equal. And when there is an opinion that I feel is dangerous and harmful, I'm not going to let that opinion go without countering it right there. In the same way that Errol said that Omarosa did not come out and counteract Piers Morgan. Omarosa and Piers Morgan are on different levels. I am here live with a person who made a statement that I felt in that moment needed to be addressed, and I addressed it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't call him any names. I asked him questions, and I allowed him to be able to speak what it is that he said and how it is that he felt. And I felt like what it was that he was saying was dangerous. If I was talking boxing with you, Errol, and I said, well, one of your boxers is I believe that he raped someone, and because someone said he raped them. Now, rape is a very serious accusation. Are you gonna let the conversation go when I'm talking about how I feel that this person may have raped someone?
Oh, I leave it up to the opinions of the people who are listening to bear it. Like I'm gonna state what I feel and tell them sources where I feel like they need to go, and then leave it up to the opinions of the people. I don't feel
Okay.
like I don't feel like even on YouTube this is a court of law. I feel like this is the voice of the people, and we talking about the trending subjects at hand, and we're having a conversation about it in terms of fact checking about stuff that I may said and you may said. Again, that will come into opinion, but the people listening, I trust they have high IQ. They can find out the information, and whether they think is right or wrong, they can duly find someone and talk about them. But like I said to you, the stuff I was listening to about Omarosa was painting the picture of what people were saying about her. To
Got
say
you,
that
got you.
the way you'd see where she came from, where she is now, and remember, it was all about the cookout. Does she deserve that the cookout? And I think some people would let her, and some people wouldn't. So that's where I'm coming from.
Okay, okay. So this is what I'm hearing, right? What I'm hearing is that there's a way that when you're having a conversation with a person on the airwaves,
Mm-hmm.
that a person can make a highly inflammatory, non-factual statement and you'll
Mm-hmm.
let it go and just let the people decide whether, or let the people do their own research about whether or not that statement is true or not. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, I do that all the
Okay.
time. Like I have like on a hangout. Usually, I have like five, four different people, and some people will come out and stuff, and I would putting them up on the stuff they said, and I'll say, "But where did you get that information from?" And they will tell me where, or I say, "Is that opinion or is that a fact?" Like you have them with me. Is that my opinion? Is that a fact? Which you have said, and which I actually think I had to sit back and think about it. And yeah, I usually do that, and then it comes down to the people listening. Do you think this person who I'm talking to is credible? They can quickly make that opinion of themselves or where they think this
Okay.
person is right. That's why I leave it up to what people think. That's what I always do. You say your opinion, they say your opinion, and that's just left where it is. I mean, people
I
know, people
see.
can find out. So
I see. I see.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the
Well,
way
you
I
know
get along
what?
with people. That's the way I
I
mean.
I
That's why I get along with people.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. And I'll never forget. There's this person called Charlemagne the God here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A few weeks ago, a tape surfaced, a recording resurfaced on the internet where he was talking about an encounter that he had with a young lady who he bought an intoxicant for her, and he spiked her drink with it, and when she became incapacitated, he then had intercourse with her. So he was on this broadcast with other people, and he made this statement, and the people who were around him on this live broadcast with him laughed. They were saying, "That's rape." And they laughed as they said that that was rape. He was like, "Oh, no, stop it. That's not rape." And then the broadcast continued. They went off and he described what it is that he did. And then things went from there, right? Now, me personally, I heard that and I thought that it was a travesty because we had a person on live air who was talking about what is explicitly a crime. That is sexual assault, aggravated rape, that is rape in the first degree, depending on which state you're in. Each state has different statutes for what constitutes rape. So this is what I'm saying, right? On these airwaves, on these knockout airwaves here, the Tonya Tko show, right? When a person says something on this airwave which is factually untrue, I'm not going to task the people in the audience to wait until a later date and maybe look it up somewhere, because I know how people get hypnotized by information that enters into their conscious and their subconscious mind. While you are on this broadcast, if there is something that is said which is not true, it is going to be brought up to the mat, especially if that thing is dangerous and inflammatory. We're not going to make accusations about people and their genitalia and their solicitations for sex without any type of corroboration. You're going to hear right here on this airwave what is and is not acceptable. And it's not acceptable to make inflammatory statements which are factually not corroborated. Not here. People don't have to go anyplace else and do any other type of research. You're going to hear right here whether or not this is true or untrue. And I'm not going to be the person sitting around and kikiing while I hear some lies around me and while I hear people saying stuff that is just, which I know in my gut. And like those people, I feel that those people on that broadcast with Charlemagne were cowards. And there were people who stepped away from that broadcast who were listening, who were not educated about that being rape right there in the moment. So they ended that broadcast, and the information that they received is that that was not rape and that that was actually funny. So I think that the people who were talking to him were cowards, honestly. So that's what I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was his wife he was talking about. He has a conversation.
He was talking about more than just his wife. He made a statement about his wife, and he made a statement about another person too.
Okay. Well, there you go, innit? You know, he's on the thing joking about stuff. And you're right. You know, you have to obviously bring up and correct and fact check people, what people say. And obviously, like I said, my opinions of what I thought at that point about Omarosa and where he is, yeah, you're right. Bring opinions and absolutely right. When you're on your show, you make sure the guidelines of how you're going to conduct the show and the hangout, exactly how it is. So that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
But you know what? I will say one thing. We didn't have to spend so much time on it.
Hey, listen. It's all right. That's all right.
Next time, I will definitely not spend that much time. I'll just call the person to task and then just leave it be and just move on. But when we tried to move on, you didn't really have anything else that you had to say about Omarosa anyway. So we're done.
Okay, yeah, fine then. All right, well, at least you know how to work the hangout. That's a good thing about, and I'm sure you work out how to add people in and have a conversation and with the chat. So that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. You definitely did help me learn how to bring people in. I have 2 browser windows open right now so that I could see some of the chat passing by as they're saying it. So I think we got it under control right now. So I do appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you for being able to take those verbal jabs from me earlier. You're a good sparrer. Thank you.
Well, you know what? If it was another topic, yeah, then maybe it might be. I don't think you do well if it was another topic. But on this topic, you definitely know your stuff. This one, but on this topic, you know your stuff, obviously. Like, but you know, on other subjects, maybe I would have came with more ammo. But again, to be fair, I was just having a conversation. You was supposed to talk to another guy about so I filled in for the other guy who came in and. We had the conversation, but I look with interest to see what Omarosa is going to do next. And I appreciate her going on a book tour and saying stuff about and changing how people want to perceive her. I really like the idea that she's fighting back and she's not letting people portray her in the way that they were trying to. So good on you, Omarosa. And at certain people, you'd be welcome at my cookout if I had that, my barbecue, because I'd like to be talking. I'd like to listen to her and be interested to talk to you. And you as well, Tonya Tko, and your audience. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, when I come out to England, we definitely have to connect. And would I let Omarosa come to my barbecue? I would let Omarosa come to the barbecue. I would not let her inside the home. I wouldn't let her, like, if she was like, oh, we need some buns. Can I go into your kitchen to get them? I would not let her go, not even into my kitchen to get buns. I would say, oh, wait out here, and I would send someone else. I wouldn't. Would you let her come into your house?
Yeah,
well, you're a man.
Yeah, I would let her come into my house. I don't. But before, but if you come into my house anyway, I made sure before I come to my house, everything's locked up and keys, so there's nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? You're just going in to get something to receive. But if you're talking about coming to my office where there's like, you know, there's important things and stuff like that. No, but she records everything anyway. Even the conversation you probably have with her, you know, somewhere there's a bug or a mic or something, she's recording it. You know what I'm saying? So she's interesting.
Well, you know, she definitely did what she needed to do for herself in this White House, and she knew that she was going to need those recordings. That's why she took them. Most of us don't have recordings, but she knew.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I was listening to the Reverend Tommy Lee or whatever his name is, and it was listening to his views about Trayvon Martin and other guys and stuff like that, and I was thinking to myself, you know, if people had the same mindset as Omarosa and that sort of, you know, I think the people they wouldn't put themselves in Michael Jackson or, I don't know, other people, maybe R. Kelly, I don't know. Maybe they'd save themselves a lot of stress. That's the way I look at it. because because they was ready to just throw underneath the rug and make it she was an angry black woman. She said, no, that's not the case. This is I've got stuff to corroborate what I'm saying. I have
Yeah.
receipts. I have things. I think people, when you're a celebrity at a certain point, you have to protect yourself. And even people look at Mayweather and he has a lot of big security around him. People think, oh, why has he got big security? Because there's some crazy people out there that's gonna
Yeah.
do something and try and attack you. And I think everything
Yeah.
you get to a certain point in life, yeah, you do stuff. Prevention is better than cure, and that's what basically is saved. It's kind of saved her.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I wanted to give a thank you to Michelle Robinson in the audience holding it down, because there are lots of different comments and points of view going across in the audience. So thank you, Michelle, for holding it down. I appreciate that. Someone wants to know whether or not I would want to be Omarosa's friend.
That's
I would not.
interesting.
I wouldn't let Omarosa into my personal circle. I know. Listen, the thing about Omarosa is we gotta know from her actions. I mean, people show you who they are. Believe them. Omarosa has shown you that Omarosa is about Omarosa. She is about herself. She is about looking out for herself. She is about taking care of numero uno above all else. It doesn't matter who she has to stab in the back or who she has to choke or drown or whatever. I would not open up my personal life and story and secrets to Omarosa unless I wanted those things to be published one day. I wouldn't personally do it. I wouldn't trust her. And I'm sure Omarosa has friends, and I don't know what her circle of friends looks like, but Omarosa seems like the type of person that will say whatever it is that she needs to say, do what it is that she needs to do in her long-term goal to get where it is that she needs to be. I wouldn't personally trust her. Is there anybody in the audience that would trust Omarosa in their personal circle? Would you trust her in your circle of friends, Errol?
No, I don't think I trust her in my circle of friends. But I don't mind talking to her. I don't think I trust her. I don't mind having a conversation with her about some of the stuff she's heard. More to do with like a gossip friends, right? You go to some friends and they just there tell you what this, that, the other. And then but at that point, me telling her about what I'm up to, no. But I, I guess that is that some sort of trust? I mean, do you believe what she's saying? I mean, then, but at the same time, as I'm talking to her, she could be saying stuff about me as well, which she has done. She recorded some of her friends and put them out there as well. So, you know what? If I assess the situation, then I guess the answer is no. She's actually quite dangerous because if you're a private citizen, you definitely don't want stuff out, going out, stuff, information. Not like I'm famous or anything, but so I
Yeah,
guess the answer.
well, I mean, you said she did it to you, so
She would, well, she done it to one of her friends that they were close friends for years, and she had recordings and tapes, and she actually put the girl information out. They was the saying, and so they knew they were basically on
yeah.
the report. They were
But let
trying
me
to paint
ask
her
you this
character.
question. Was that person
Mhm.
really her friend? Because the stuff because the woman said, oh, sounds like she's writing a novel or some fiction novel, right? But
Mhm.
then the very next day she dropped the recording, and then what did the woman have to say? Then they were like, oh, she's loathsome. So that wasn't really her friend anyway, because that person
That
didn't
wasn't the
stand by
same woman.
Omarosa.
That wasn't. I know that woman. That wasn't the same woman. It was another woman. By the
Oh,
way.
someone
Yeah,
who was
someone else you knew. You knew her for 10 years. You had a friend. She was friends with her for 10 years. I know the woman you're talking. I know the one you're talking about. That's what.
which recording? You talking about in this White House debacle or something else?
No, no, it was something else she did before that, leading up that she threw some of her friends she had for 10 years, and it was a recording about something she did it to kind of progress her career to get to wherever. And it was quite heated, but it wasn't like big mainstream thing. It was just kind of two black women arguing at that point. It wouldn't have been anything. The reason why it's big now is because it's the president of the United States. That's what she's dealing with. The president of the United States, and she's saying how they dealt with her. They put her into the boardroom and they had her there for hours. Her husband was outside, and it was quite humiliating and quite nerve wracking for her that she would actually go through that sort of thing. So
Oh wow.
she's
Here, look at this. What people are saying. There's somebody, Jin Jen, who's saying, give her a chance. We need people like her. She could be trying to help us intelligently. Someone would have to get close, wake up. And Kofi is saying, I would trust her 100%. And Brown Sugar is like, I wouldn't let Omarosa near me. The witch is ready to stab you in the back. And Kofi is saying she has shown she is aware and responsible. Okay. You know what? Give your closing. Tell people how they can find you online, Errol.
Yeah, my name is EJ Boxing Live. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram. I have my YouTube. I have various YouTube accounts. I have mainly two. You catch me on there. So yeah, you catch me there. EJ Boxing Live, where I talk boxing, covering the fights last night between what's his name, heavyweight Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder from America will be facing Tyson Fury and the big heavyweight battle to decide who's the unified champion. So all them topics about boxing. I cover the big three, basketball as well, and I cover what else did I cover? I cover the NBA. So basketball, boxing, and stuff. And I do like cover the debates about social issues, but I don't really put them out. So this is actually the first time I'm actually having a debate about politics out here online.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. And for those of you, you know me, and my website is TonyaTko.com, TONYATKO.com. And I am a self-love specialist and a relationship expert. And on my show, we talk about how to love yourself and each other. And so make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I have a new book that's coming out, which is the 6-Step Shift to Self-Love. And we talk about how to change your mind into loving yourself and falling deeply and completely in love with yourself. Michelle is saying, I am all for what you guys are doing. Well, no, I'm all for what she is doing. But when you ask whether or not she could be in your personal circle, you have to trust. There's some people who say they trust her. I don't know. I wouldn't personally trust her in my personal circle. But listen, thank you all for coming out. Next week, we're going to be broadcasting live on my Facebook fan page. We're going to be talking, me and Eric Dillard, we're going to be talking about the topics of the week and the news of the week. And so this week we were talking about Omarosa. Our broadcast on Facebook got interrupted, and then we came out here to YouTube to kind of figure out how to do this here. And so I'm going to check the numbers on YouTube, check the numbers on Facebook, and see where's the best place for us to broadcast live. But in order for you to know, make sure that you come over to make sure that you come over to, let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to, okay, there we go. So make sure that, so Errol, I'm going to release you from the broadcast, okay? Hold on. We can't hear you. Hold on. Let me, I think you're muted. Hold on.
You muted me. That's why. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, so Kofi loves boxing, so Kofi is going to check you out. So you got a new subscriber right there. So thank you, Errol. I'm gonna close out the show, and then we'll talk again. Thank you for helping me get this Facebook this Google Hangout together. Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.
And you still love me
all the time, man. Everyone loves Tonya TKO.
All right then. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Okay, perfect. All right, so everybody, listen, we're getting ready to get out of here. So thank you all for coming out. If you want to know where we're broadcasting live next week, make sure that you come over and you join my mailing list, which is on TonyaTko.com. You can go to TonyaTko.com/subscribe. That is Tonya spelled with an O, TonyaTko.com/subscribe. Join the mailing list, get on there, and next week I'll send you all a broadcast about where we're going to be broadcasting live and what the topic of next week is going to be. Because the way things are moving, we do not know what is going to happen week to week and who's going to be taking up the news cycle. All right, so this week was Omarosa. Next week, who knows what someone will do, and we'll be talking about that then. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Brown Sugar. Thank you, Michelle. We had the opposition's opinion inside of the audience, who was Kat. So thank you, Kat, for coming out. Who else did we have out here? So I can't see all of the names anymore because the section is really small. So Quanane, Kofi, thank you all for coming out. Is Kat still talking about moving on? Brown Sugar sending hugs from Germany. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day too. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And I'll see you guys later. Check my videos during the week where we talk about love and relationships. Okay. And I have a bunch of new channels that I'm creating. So make sure that you like all of my channels. And I will see you guys later on in the week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.